Welcome to Metal Verbalizers. This podcast is about supporting underground metal and talking about underground bands that we like. We talk about things like inspirations, origin, future plans, and more, as a way to introduce these bands to you. However, even if you are familiar with a band, maybe you will hear something new that you didn't know already. I'm Johan Verbalizer, and this episode we will verbalize Impurity. Alright, so let's start by having you introduce yourself. Name and what you do for the band.
Hello, my name is Ville, Ville Esbjörn, I guess it's my stage name by now. And I do vocals and rhythm guitar, and sometimes some lead guitar, but mostly rhythm guitar.
Right, so when did you start playing and singing, and what encouraged you to start?
I think I started playing guitar like when I turned 14. I got my first guitar on my 14th birthday, and I think what got me into playing guitar was probably like the usual music classes that you have in elementary school in Sweden. And we were just playing some basic rock songs probably, and I thought it was really fun. I had previously been playing piano my entire life, so it was a pretty good change, and it wasn't too difficult to use my hands. And the part of doing vocals, I guess, came when me and our previous bassist Liam started Impurity. Someone had to take the role of doing vocals, and I stepped up and I decided to do it. So that's why.
Right. So if you would quickly describe Impurity for someone who's not familiar with you, how would you quickly describe you?
I mean, the best description of Impurity is probably just a band that tries to imitate the 90s of Sweden. And it's a really, I guess, boring description because there's a lot of bands that does it, but I suppose that's just the really most basic description. Could add some elements of us probably being more inspired by the underground and obscure sound of the 90s rather than just being inspired by Entombed and Dismember.
All right. Yeah, I can definitely hear that. And for someone who's a big fan of that type of style, I think that Impurity is a very great continuation of that approach.
Thank you.
But yeah, so when was the band started? And also, if you want to elaborate a little bit on how it started.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess the first version of Impurity started, I think it's like December 2021. And it was just me and Liam, our previous bassist. We were called Damnation back then. We had some rehearsals. We were actually playing black metal back then, more like first wave Swedish black metal. So it was very inspired by Morbid.
Right.
And then we decided we don't want to play black metal anymore. So we decided to go to the death metal direction, and we put out an ad on a website called Band Finder, which a lot of people in Sweden use. And I think we said we were looking for a drummer and a guitarist, and that's when our lead guitarist Axel reached out to us, and we started rehearsing in Sickla, which is where we adapted in Impurity, and I guess Impurity came to be. And we were just playing like death metal covers to begin with. It was a lot of Death, Possessed. I think we played some Obituary, even some Venom, and maybe some Bolt Thrower.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess what really was the big change of us going into like more Swedish death metal was just me being inspired by my then teacher at school, who showed me Wolverine Blues
Right.
by Entombed, and I really fell in love with that album. And I started exploring more by myself, and I found Left Hand Path, and then I found Dismember, and that's when I got really into Swedish death metal. So, and our guitarist Axel had also, like, he had loved Dismember for a long while, and Liam also loved Entombed and some other bands like Necrophobic. So we just decided to really go for that sound, because we felt like there wasn't any HM2 or like any modern. We knew that there was like a lot of American death metal bands, like they were modern and still doing the thing. But I guess we were we were kind of wrong, because is a lot of bands that try to imitate the 90s. So, and we get a lot of, I guess, backlash for that, because people say it's unoriginal.
Right. I mean, personally, my opinion about that is that, like, original or not, it is a formula that works and it sounds good. So I don't see any problem with it.
Me neither. And I mean, the thing about people saying that it's unoriginal, it's, yeah, sure. I mean, the HM2 sound has been done forever, but so has just a normal distortion sound as well. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
if that's the case, everyone should just either start playing death metal with clean jazz tone, or
yeah, that's a great point.
It's a weird point to point out that, oh yeah, well, bands has already done it since the 90s. Well, I mean, distortion has been used since like the 60s, so
yeah, I
just
totally
a
agree.
weird thing. And another point is that, well, we, like, Impurity isn't Dismember and it isn't Entombed. We don't have the same inspirations, so there's always going to be some adaptation to the sound. It's always going to be personal and unique in some way. You can never recreate someone's sound exactly unless you just go ahead and completely steal the riffs, like like some bands has done, which I won't name any names, but if you know, you know.
Right. But yeah, you mentioned it a little bit previously, but what would you say is like the main inspiration for the music of Impurity? It doesn't necessarily have to be like bands or even music related. You mentioned like the underground scene in Sweden, but would you like to elaborate on that?
Oh, I mean, the main inspiration is it varies a lot depending on who you ask in the band. For me, it's just the 90s in Sweden, the more underground scene and more obscure bands that like Utumno, Uncanny, Eucharist, and of course the classics like Dismember, Entombed, and Necrony. And then I usually go for their inspirations, what they inspired them. So I take a lot of inspiration from Carcass, Paradise Lost, Bolt Thrower, and sometimes even the modern, I guess, adaptations of Swedish death metal, like the contemporary bands. But I know as for other members of Impurity, it varies a lot. Sometimes it's a lot of inspirations from like really melancholic and melodic black metal to like just almost rock and roll,
All right. But yeah, would you like to talk about like the lyric themes of Impurity?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the lyric themes, of course, vary a lot from song to song, but the biggest element has it's probably been suicide. And since it's death metal, it's obviously going to be some depressive or horrible themes.
Yeah.
But it's the themes are always inspired by either personal experiences or like sometimes like a movie I watched. So I guess that's a personal experience if you want to theme it as that. But it's usually personal experiences, like with every band. It's a lot about suicide and mostly horror movies if it's not like a directly personal experience. But I've been trying to recently with our sophomore album that we're currently writing. I've been trying to explore it a bit more, and I guess write about things that aren't the stereotypical death metal elements, but still are very melancholic and personal, without making it too making it sound too much like a emo rock band, I guess.
All right. So if I understand you correctly, that you want to like explore a little bit more unexplored territory, but you also want it to make sense for the stuff you're doing.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's also the case for all the new music we're writing. You know, it at the moment it doesn't sound a lot like the Eternal Sleep, but we haven't definitely not we haven't gone too far away from that sound. But it's a bit more for anyone waiting for more or new material. It's going to be bit more melodic, but not in the like Gothenburg melodic sense.
Right.
A bit more in the almost like gothic doom and black metal sense, blended with classical, you know, Swedish death metal dismember riffs and such.
Right. So comparing it with like the Eternal Sleep and that description, that sounds really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to be. We don't want to write the same album twice because it serves no purpose, I guess, other than being like a part two of the same album. But we also want to, you know, explore our own writing and just do something new that everyone hasn't heard before. Because, you know, that's we don't. Sometimes people complain about us not being original, and we specifically don't want to fall under the pressure of like, oh, you're not original, so okay, we have to change it now. It's more just that it's the natural way of writing music that you evolve into something more sophisticated. If you listen
Right.
to like Entombed and Dismember, Clandestine, and Dismember's second album, Indecent and Obscene, are both like a lot more sophisticated than their debut albums.
Yeah. Well, I've been very clear about my mindset regarding that. That is like, you should just do what you want to do, and the right people will appreciate that for what it is, so to speak.
Exactly. And I mean, even though we're writing a new style of music, we won't stop playing the songs from Eternal Sleep. So
yeah,
we'll still be the same band. It's going to be, you can always, you know, listen to Eternal Sleep if you don't like our new stuff.
Right. But yeah, would you like to talk a little bit about artwork, like the artwork for the Eternal Sleep, for example?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the artwork for Eternal Sleep is done by my friend Freya Reuterskiöld. We went to elementary school together, and I asked her, I think maybe half a year before we had to release the album, do you want to like draw something for our album? Because we had originally actually another painting that was supposed to be the cover, done by another artist, but to be honest, it was not good at all. We weren't satisfied with it, so yeah, we didn't use it at all. We didn't even have it, no access to it at all. We didn't buy it. And then I asked Freya, and she was down to do it. It took a lot of time to get it finished. But yeah, she painted that, and she's also painted a lot of new, I guess, covers for other bands like Templar. She's painted their EP, Treacherous Beast. Right. She's done their new album cover, and she's also done stuff for Atonement, I believe. So her work has become very popular. And we wanted to use or have an artist that not everyone has used before, because if you look at Exorcist, I believe they've used the same artist for all their 3 albums, and right. Eternal Evil has also used that artist for their album, The Gates Beyond Mortality. So we wanted to go with something or someone that was completely, I guess, new and have our own style.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and the album cover is obviously very inspired by Left Hand Path. The idea wasn't at all to copy Left Hand Path. We just said, okay, we want something that looks like Dan Seagrave, that, you know, that 80s comic book feel. And we sent like Left Hand Path, Crawl, like the Crawl EP, probably some other stuff as inspiration, and just ended up being Left Hand Path, I guess, somehow. So that wasn't intentional. It wasn't supposed to be a very like a lookalike, but it just came to be, and people like it. I guess it reminds them a lot of Entombed.
Yeah, right, because I think that was very similar to like what I thought when I saw that artwork the first time. That like I guess I would say that it felt familiar, but it did not feel like a copy.
Mhm. The sad thing about the cover for the album is that there is a lot more of the artwork that we haven't used. Like it's
Right.
the entire artwork is cropped. There
Okay.
is like some really cool edges that we were planning to use for something else. But I mean, will be probably used in the future, maybe for a backdrop where you can see the entire artwork or something.
Okay. Because I was about to ask you that if you're planning on using the rest of the artwork in the future.
Yeah, we will.
Right.
Either for a backdrop or maybe some like a post or something. We don't know yet, you know.
All right. But yeah, I'll definitely looking forward to see that.
Mhm.
But if I understand that correctly, it is not the same artist that did the singles like Morningside, for example.
No, the guy who did the signals artworks for Morningside and Ancient Remains, I think his name is John Whitney.
Right.
And he's also done like an artwork for, I think, one of Cryptorium's t-shirts. And he has a fan scene which we were featured in, like I think maybe a year ago or something.
Right.
And that's how we got in contact with him. And he was, selling artworks, and I just found these two, and they reminded me of the band Necrony, so we thought we used them.
Right. So, what are your plans for the future? You mentioned the sophomore album. Would you like to elaborate on that, or do you have more future plans that you would like to talk about?
I mean, for the future, I guess we want to play as many gigs as possible outside of Stockholm, since we have 2 gigs in Stockholm this autumn, one in September, one in October with Dismember, and then we have some gigs outside of Sweden, which I can't talk more about other than saying that will be gigs outside of Sweden. But yeah, we're writing our sophomore album. When that will be recorded and released, I don't have any idea. But
Right.
I think we hope to release it next year, maybe record it in like December this year.
Right. So yeah, I've personally seen Impurity live several times and can confirm that Impurity is a very great band to experience live.
Thank you.
I can, of course, strongly recommend everyone who is listening to see them live.
Thank you. Yeah, we don't have that many gigs booked at the moment, so if anyone is listening from outside of Sweden or outside of Stockholm that want to book us, just reach out to us on our mail or Instagram or whatever.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to say before we end? For example, something you wish I asked about, or just something else that you want to say to the people listening?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I'm pretty happy with what we've covered. I guess if you haven't listened to us, just take a listen to our album. Maybe buy it, since we recently did a repress on it on vinyl, or buy it on CD, or maybe buy one of our new shirts that we're gonna release soon. There'll also be we're gonna do a repress of our horrible demo from 2022. So if you want that, like, look out for it, because it's not going to be many. There's not going to be many prints of it. So if you want it, you're gonna keep your eyes open.
Right. I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to make this episode, and we wish you all the luck in the future.
Thank you. You too.
This is the end of this episode. However, now we want to encourage you to go and listen to this band. If you like what you hear, don't forget to go and show them some support. Interacting with their social media pages, sharing their music, and telling them that you enjoy their music is very important. It's a great way to help the bands and encourage them to keep going, which helps keep metal alive. We really appreciate that you've been listening all the way to the end. Thank you very much for listening to and supporting Metal Verbalizers. We will be back to verbalize again next week.